All right, we are getting super local today with a special guide just for you homeowners out there in Lake Zurich, Illinois. We're going to go underground, uncover the history that's flowing right beneath your feet, and figure out what it all means for your home's plumbing. So let's dive right in. Okay, I know it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But believe it or not, the answer has everything to do with the pipes under your house. See, the story of how Lake Zurich grew is also the story of its plumbing, and that history has a funny way of backing up, sometimes, well, right into your basement. So, to really get why your sink might be making that weird gurgling sound today, we have to rewind the clock a bit. The plumbing problems so many of you might be facing, they don't just happen out of nowhere. They are a direct result of how this village grew over the last couple of centuries. Just look at this timeline. It really maps out the journey from this tiny farming community to the bustling suburb we know today. You have settlers showing up in the 1830s, but the real game changer? That was the massive housing boom in the 1950s. A ton of homes built back then are still standing. And, here's the kicker, so is their original plumbing. That's what the local pros call aging plumbing systems, and they're just way more likely to cause trouble. So, all that history, it leads us right here to the most common problems that Lake Zurich homeowners are calling plumbers about today. And these aren't just random one-off issues. They're symptoms of a much bigger story that's happening underground. And yep, here are the usual suspects. You've got your everyday stuff, the slow drains from grease and hair, but it's those more serious issues like tree roots cracking into old pipes or the main lines getting totally blocked after a big storm that are super common in areas with older infrastructure. If you've dealt with any of these, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Okay, so you know you've got a problem, but where is it exactly? In the old days, finding out could have meant digging up your entire front lawn. Ugh. Thankfully, technology has given us a much better way to play detective. And this is it, a video camera inspection. A plumber literally feeds this tiny, waterproof, high-res camera right into your drain line. It's kind of like a colonoscopy for your house, giving you this crystal clear, real-time view of what's actually going on down there, whether it's a huge buildup of gunk, a pesky tree root that's decided to move in, or even a crushed pipe. And the advantage here is just so simple and smart. The camera finds the exact spot of the problem. That means no guesswork and, most importantly, no destructive digging just to find out what's wrong. It saves you time, it saves you money, and it saves your landscaping. So, once the camera has found the culprit, it's time to fix it. And the pros have two main weapons in their arsenal for clearing out clogs. And you should know they're designed for very different kinds of battles. First up, you've got power rotting. Okay, think of this one as the brute force option. It's a super tough, flexible steel cable with a sharp cutting tool on the end. They send it right down the pipe to physically break apart a solid blockage, like a really dense tree root or maybe even a collapsed section of pipe. And then there's the other tool, hydrojetting. Now, this is a completely different approach. It's less about breaking something up and more about a powerful deep clean. It uses these intense jets of high-pressure water to just blast away years of accumulated grease, sludge, and scale from the inside walls of the pipe. It basically restores it to a like-new condition. So let's put it this way. You wouldn't use a pressure washer to break up a boulder, and you wouldn't use a jackhammer to clean a greasy pan, right? It's the same idea. Power rotting is for punching through a specific solid blockage. Hydrojetting is for cleaning the entire system from the inside out. Understanding the difference really helps you get what a pro might recommend for your specific situation. Okay, so you know the problems, you know the solutions, but who do you call? How do you choose the right person for the job? Let's walk through a quick checklist to make sure you're protected and you actually get quality work done. This is your basic homework, and it's so important. Are they licensed and insured? That is a total non-negotiable. Do they offer 24/7 service in case things go wrong in the middle of the night? And a big one, do they guarantee their work? Asking these questions right up front is how you separate the real pros from everyone else. Now, out of all the things we just talked about, there is one thing, one piece of paper that is absolutely critical to get in your hands before you agree to anything. Any guesses what it is? That's right, a written estimate. A verbal quote is fine for a quick chat, but a written estimate, that's a commitment. It protects you from any surprise charges later and makes sure everyone is on the exact same page about the work and the cost. Never, ever move forward without one. And don't just get the estimate and say, okay, looks good. You gotta dig into the details. Ask questions. Does that price include all the labor? Are all the parts included? And what about cleanup? Asking these specific questions makes sure there are no nasty hidden costs or a huge mess left for you to deal with. It's all about clarity before the work starts. We've gone through the problem, the diagnosis, the solution. Now for the final and, honestly, maybe the most important step: making sure it doesn't happen again. A little bit of prevention goes a very, very long way. And this is your prevention playbook. It's actually pretty simple stuff. Use drain screens in your sinks and showers to catch hair and food bits. Stop treating your toilet like a garbage can. And yes, I'm talking about those so-called flushable wipes. They're not. And hey, if you live in one of those classic Lake Zurich homes from the 50s, scheduling a periodic camera inspection is a really smart, proactive way to catch small problems before they become huge disasters. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Every single home in Lake Zurich is part of the village's long story, from those first pioneers to that big suburban boom. And understanding that history is the key to managing its present. So the real question to leave you with is, what steps are you going to take to make sure your home's hidden plumbing is ready for whatever comes next? That's our deep dive for today.